So Teenage Wildlife is a project that sees us go into a specific area of Barnsley, collect stories from local residents about their teenage experiences, and these stories might span 1940s through to 2010s. We then take those stories to a group of young people and we work with wee great ladies and those young people to bring them to life.
Well, it's basically like a bunch of people's stories from Barnsley that have been made together into scripts, and then young people from Horizon Community College have come together to perform that in like a hour-long theatre production.
Well, I didn't really understand what it was completely, but it sounded like a really good new opportunity to perform at the Civic.
It's like getting people's voices out there, showing like different sides of Britain in a way. It's just nice to have different stories out there.
I mean, of course, I've enjoyed the acting side of it, but also a lot of the theatre I've done in the past have been like just plays, published plays, fictional things like that, but it's quite nice to do something that's a bit different, it's still very theatrical and still a performance, but all of the things that happen in it are true, and that's not really something I've done before, and I think it's just nice to act out real people's stories rather than just something that's been written or something that's been made up by a director.
This is the third time that we've done this project, and each time it's completely different. Obviously it's different stories from different people's lives, from different eras. It's also from a different area each time. On performance night, they were incredible, absolutely embraced the characters in a really confident way, and yeah, they shone, they absolutely shone.
I think what was different this time as well for us, it was always very much about creating a performance piece. That's what the project is about. It was about storytelling and creating a project piece. For this group and for this time, it was the first time about knowing whether or not we were facilitating a room to create a piece of theatre, or we were facilitating a room to create a sense of well-being, emotional well-being for young performers. And then we had a big chat about it all as colleagues, and said, what is the most important bit? Is it about these young people having a good, strong,
Positive.
opportunity, or is it about creating a really polished piece of theatre? And luckily we all fell on the side of let them all have a good time.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say was different. What was then enlightening and inspiring for us was trusting the process and knowing that they could take it to the place where it needed to go to. And for us to sit in the audience and go, oh, you're doing it, that's magic.
I found, well, the rehearsals in general, they didn't feel like a regular school rehearsal, because normally we'd be doing something that's either well known or something that you'd have an understanding of. But with the project Teenage Wildlife, it's vastly different to that, because you're not only picking up on a story that someone else has told, you're sort of paying respect to that person and passing down the legacy that they've given, which you don't get that sort of feeling from if you're doing, say, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that we did here. It felt sort of like an honour to play the character at part.
I think the arts, it helps people express something. A lot of people don't know how to express themselves in other ways. So having it on a stage, doing actual theatre, helps people express themselves in ways that they couldn't before. I think it's helped the group of people that we are, even though we're all in the same school, we all do the same things, we're all very similar. It's helped us grow like together, closer, and it's helped us like appreciate each other way more and appreciate our voices and everything like that.
The moment we stepped out of the classroom, so on the first Saturday, I felt like the connection with people started to grow, but then the second Saturday rehearsal, like, I felt like I could finally be more myself.
But this process helped me like commit to things because I stayed out so long, but usually I just give up within like the first week.
Well, it's in a way to express yourself, I guess, and also just have more friends and be like more comfortable with people who like the same stuff as you, like drama and theatre and stuff, and just basically just being around people, I think.
I think it's really important that young people do other stuff outside of school because it really develops them as a person, and I think it's really fulfilling to be part of something like that. Like once you've finished it, the joy you get from like being in a performance like that is immeasurable.
I see art as being a way that people understand the world. It's how we make sense of everything around us, and especially performing art. It gives us an emotional awareness of everything. And so for young people, especially teenagers at the age that our performers have been for this project, I just think something like this is integral to their development as young people. Arts is a way that they can understand and explore the world that they're growing up in.
The Teenage Wildlife Project was devised to be a project that collects stories from multiple generations and to celebrate the differences, the similarities. And for young people now who may feel disconnected with the older generation or vice versa, to see that actually we're all a bit of the same. And Anne's experience in the 1970s weren't too different to one of our young people's now. And it's nice when we see that when it clicks and they ease into that character because they feel closer to that character or they feel closer to that story.
So my mum said that you'd played Mr. Wilkinson exactly how he did and how he was in real life.
To me, that sort of means a lot because I'm not from Barnsley. My mum and my family, we don't have that connection around here that you and your mum probably do. My family won't know anyone here, so the fact that I've managed to play a real person, the way they are, it feels sort of important.
There's a lot of the plays we do at school and just out of school of being fictional and you're playing a fictional character, but I think playing like a real person is a bit daunting at times because you want to get them and like who they are exactly right, but I think it was also very interesting to just learn about their life and also perform it in front of people.
As I move into my third decade working as a theatre practitioner, I realise through age and wisdom that more and more that we live in chapters, and I think that our teenage life is, when we're in that present moment, what feels like the biggest chapter. That's what we're doing because we're in that moment. And so for the young people to have a moment and reflect that there was a world before them, and not only is that cross-generational collaboration really important for their own development going forward, I think it's really nice for them to go, I'm not in isolation, I'm not on my own. There was this whole world and a story before me. There will be a world and story after me. And my life will be in chapters and I can narrate as much as that as I possibly can. But in truth, I think for young people to feel more connected to themselves, to the place where they're from and to the people around them, story is crucial. And when it can be, and as somebody said previously, when it can be a human story, when they have the privilege of playing that role and that part and it being a human moment, well, it helps them see that there was life before and there will be a life beyond being a teenager.
I genuinely got emotional watching that, as in like a genuine tear fell down here. Because it's so weird when you tell your own story and go back to school, and it genuinely brought back loads of memories, and it was just lovely. The guys got it spot on. Like, so obviously I told my story in an interview, and they've been able to put it into like a script and a monologue. And Lily, I thought you smashed it. It was like watching myself back in the day, and it was great. I loved it. But thanks for doing it. I appreciate it.
It was really good, to be fair, and that is a true story about my mum and dad made me do a newspaper round to pay to do my maths GCSE. So I just said to my friend, if my dad was here, he'd be laughing his head off. So You was absolutely brilliant. Pippa was brilliant as Sarah. Thank you for doing that.
Lots of fun. I like doing it.
Brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it. You were fabulous. She played it really well.
And I think your story was very cool.
Oh, well, thank you. She brought back absolute loads of memories from a lot of years ago. Well, they did the most incredible job, and the way they've interpreted the stories is quite phenomenal, really. You've done a really brilliant job, all of you, and Rob. The highlight to me has been the humour. To cover certain subjects that could be quite serious, but they've injected an awful lot of humour into it, and you got a lot of laughs, which I think is great. That's been a good highlight to me.
What a brilliant show. Absolutely loved it. So much fun. I was even crying at one point. There's nostalgia for everyone. Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy, laugh with, cry with. Loved it.